Good evening and welcome to the Ferguson City Council meeting. At this time, we'll have our opening ceremony. The meeting is now called to order. Let us stand for a silent prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Yes, you can.
Dear Lord, at this time, we'd like to ask your blessings and your guidance watching over our first responders, our EMTs, and our police officers. And Lord, please continue to take care and enhance the strength of TJ Brown. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Clerk Pittman, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Noah.
Here.
Councilman Palmer. Is absent. Councilman Cassoff.
Here.
Councilwoman Robinette.
Here.
Councilwoman Lipka.
Here.
Councilman Williams.
Here.
Mayor Jones.
Here. Mayor, may I make a comment that first, let me declare something.
Oh, okay.
A quorum is present at this time. Councilwoman Lipka.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to let you know that our Councilman Palmer is on vacation. So in case you didn't know that's where he is.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we move to our public comments. We ask that you will come and speak into the mic. Give us your name and your address. You have 3 minutes. There's a clock down front. You have 3 minutes. If you go over 3 minutes, I ask that you complete your sentence. Don't start a new paragraph. If you do, I will hit the gavel and let you know you're out of order. If you persist to keep on talking, I will call for the police officer to escort you to your seat. We got it? All righty. At this time, Clerk Pittman, would you please call the first person?
Becca Bryan.
Hi.
Good evening.
Honorable Mayor, council members, and fellow residents, the opportunity to serve on a city board or commission is a vital volunteer position that our residents should take seriously. These boards and commissions help guide decisions that shape our community, from traffic planning to public safety to financial oversight. As such, we must ensure that those chosen for these positions are both qualified and trustworthy. As we know, selecting volunteers for these positions is no small task. When making appointments, it is crucial that those involved in this election process prioritize the qualifications of candidates over the sheer urgency of filling vacancies. The residents of Ferguson deserve appointments that reflect the best of us, individuals who are not only knowledgeable, but who also embody the values we want represented in our local government. I bring this up because during the last city council meeting, I was taken aback when Craig Shorp was approved for the Traffic Commission Board. While I do not wish to speak to any individual's character in a personal capacity, I was surprised to learn of Mr. Shorp's criminal history. He was involved in a hit-and-run accident where he struck a person with his vehicle and left the scene. After years of legal proceedings, he pled guilty to a lesser charge and is currently serving a suspended sentence. While I understand that the council's decision may have been made in good faith, it is important to reflect on whether his past actions align with the values we want to uphold in the positions of civic responsibility. I do not believe that all criminal charges should be automatically disqualifying someone from serving in our community, but I do believe that such matters should be considered when selecting candidates for these positions. A person's history, particularly when it involves legal or ethical violations, can sometimes raise questions about their judgment and suitability for public service. Furthermore, I was informed by council members that the only official requirement for serving on these boards is being up to date on taxes. While I understand that we are all committed to serving this community, I find this criterion to be insufficient. If we are not at least minimally researching the applicants, how can we be certain we aren't inadvertently placing individuals with concerning histories on critical boards? For example, could we unknowingly appoint a registered sex offender to the Parks Board or Youth Initiative? Would we want someone with a record of financial crimes serving on a board that oversees financial matters? In a community that has been under the national microscope like Ferguson, especially over the past decade, it is imperative that we make well-informed decisions about who we entrust with such responsibilities. Our city has worked hard to rebuild trust and to provide transparent and effective governance, and the composition of our boards and commissions is an extension of that effort. Let us take every necessary step to ensure that these individuals have the integrity and qualifications to advise and guide our city in the right directions. I urge this council to consider adopting a more thorough process for vetting candidates for boards and commissions. Background checks and other vetting procedures are common in other cities, and there is no reason why our city should not follow this practice. The residents of Ferguson deserve nothing less than the best qualified individuals to represent them in these critical roles. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. At this time, if you have your cell phone on, could you put it on silent? Thank you. Clerk Pittman?
Marcus Anderson,
Good evening.
Good evening.
Marcus Anderson, 1529 Charlotte Drive. We're here to talk about the auto body shop at, don't remember what the address is, at the end of Charlotte Drive and Pershall. When it went in, I was slightly opposed to it, although there was a body shop in that position originally. And I had no problem with the new business coming in, but now that business is encroaching into the neighborhood more. They have bought 2 properties, demolished one, built and are parking vehicles on a residential property. And they just demolished another house. And we are worried about what they're going to do with that property. It's hurting our property values, the residents that live on that street. I don't remember seeing anything about them being able to move that business further into the neighborhood. So we'd just like something done about it, some transparency on it. That's all I got. Thank you.
Would you give the address to the clerk, please?
The address of,
The body shop you're talking about?
it's the old Linares.
I know
body
which
shop.
one,
I
but
don't
she
remember
still
what
need the address.
the address is.
I'll get it.
Yeah, 1568 Charlotte, I believe.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So Octavia, the auto body shop is at 3776 Pershall Road. The 2 houses are next door to it and they are on Charlotte.
okay, got it.
Thank you.
Next, there is Mark and Melinda Bear.
Good evening, my name is Melinda Bailey, Mr. Mark. And we live at 1551 Charlotte Drive, right across the street from where they are bulldozing the houses.
They already bulldozed too.
And they have run over our yard with tow trucks already, and I've confronted them about it. And they're saying that nobody has done it from their business.
Right.
So we'd like to see what we can do to slow them down.
We want to know if they have any permits or anything like that to even be doing what they're doing right now. We don't know, we don't even understand why they even doing what they're doing right now, so that's our concern.
Okay, thank you. The information has been given to the clerk and
Yes.
she would in turn give it to the city manager.
Okay.
And he will send someone out there.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Jackie Fleming,
Hey, I guess everybody knows who I am, the crazy lady from the first meeting, as they call me on social media.
Address,
Oh, I have to say my name or something?
your
You have to
address.
say your name.
Jackie Fleming, 24 Patricia, Ward 3.
Thank you, ma'am.
So I'm very concerned that no one can see this as a conflict of interest, how you can sit on the board, on the council member board and rape somebody at their home. I call it rape because when you stalk the internet and look for somebody who's failing and then want to publicly say what the house is about, the person that lived there before fell behind on their taxes. Well, that was her brother-in-law that committed suicide. When she moved in, she paid his taxes. Then he went to state, she fell behind before. but she fell behind for 5 years and she got it back. This woman was a nice lady. She watched our neighborhood. She let us know when the professor, Bruce Stetchcombe, died and called his daughter. She helped me watch my daughter because we have child molesters next door at 22, Patricia, nobody wants to help me about. So, you know, these things, I've been living here since 1967. Woman in the audience with me, she moved in a couple years ago, bought her home. You know, this is who I brought up. This is me. I was the only one walking around Ferguson with their skin looking different. When the Black people came here, I welcomed them with open arms. I have a biracial daughter. I choose to live here because I want her to live in a diverse community. We lost our father a year and a half ago in our living room. Like, you can look at the top of my street and see the police department. Took 17 minutes for them to get there. I live here because this is what I know. And I want my granddaughter, who is biracial, to live in a diverse area. I can leave any day and go to Imperial. It's almost completely white. I went up to St. Joseph's Church, and there's a couple grandparents that have biracial children and a couple that adopted a Black child. I don't think it's diverse enough for her. And I'm frightened that we're gonna let board members rape us because we fall behind. We all struggle. I don't understand why nobody is crying out about this. It's a conflict of interest. He's up here making rules behind our backs and we know nothing about it. Sure, he's a shiny penny, but not so shiny now. Not when you do that. When you rape a disabled woman of her home, she was a good person. She helped me take care of another neighbor that was in our neighborhood that was dying. We brought her home so she could die on hospice with dignity. This is what Katie Kelly was about. Now she's homeless and I can't even get in touch with her. How can he sleep at night? How can nobody say anything? I thought we cared about our neighbors. I thought this is what Ferguson was. But now it looks like Ferguson's greed. I think we should audit everything he's built. And how much money have we given him in taxes to fix our city? Is it only for the wealthy here now? As somebody so set on that my time up.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Miss Jackie.
Alan Miller.
Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Good evening.
Alan Miller, 435 Darst. Although I will mention Proud several times, these comments are solely my own. When Proud's Oak Park Conference concluded last October, there was so much positive energy for our community that everyone asked Proud to host follow-up events. The series of City Council candidate forums is Proud's first effort in providing those follow-up events. I hate to say, the first forum caught me off guard. I did not expect the conversation to be so dark and so fatalistic. It was alarming that the most dire views came from the incumbent party. So how do we fight the negativism and how do we change the narrative of our city, a destructive narrative that we have adopted and advertised to the world? We need a new narrative and a new vision. If I gave you my own handout tonight, it would include our prize houses on South Clay and Tiffin, and the pristine homes in Hunter's Ridge and Chatelet Woods. And I would gladly include the nice homes in Hartnett and Dade, around Ferguson Middle School, in Forestwood, and even around Halpin Park, homes that are well loved by their owners. The Oak Park Conference concluded with unanimous opinion that Proud needed to sponsor follow-up events to build this positive vision of our community. And now, even before Proud's series of candidate forums is concluded, we are hearing similar calls to keep the conversation going. Proud could hold a roundtable to facilitate the next step, but Proud's mission is hosting dialogues, not developing specific policies. The longer-term effort needs a different setting. I suggest we assemble a task force to continue the discussion and develop actionable proposals for revitalizing Ferguson's housing and neighborhoods. We are surrounded by expertise. At the Oak Park Conference, we were favored with 12 subject matter experts just for the 3 breakout sessions on housing and neighborhoods that I facilitated. We had amazing conversations, learned so much, and these experts asked to continue helping catalyze Ferguson's renaissance. Several years ago, Mayor Jones identified community and corporate leaders who are willing to volunteer to help us realize the initiatives advocated in the Our Ferguson 2040 plan. We can see if those experts are still available. We have a lot of knowledge on our boards and commissions, in our business community, and in the historical society. We can ask help from realtors, bankers, lawyers, contractors, city planners from UMSL, teachers in construction trades from Florissant Valley, and more. We just need to assemble the right people who all possess a love for our city and a positive outlook for Ferguson's future. If we as a community are interested, I can get things started. Please let me know if you would like to help. I'd love your support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Adrian Shropshire.
Good evening, council. Good evening, citizens. 12 months ago, this time, I had a life-changing experience with an illness. I had RSV, I had double pneumonia, and I had kidney failure. I want to thank the council, the citizens, the Ferguson PD, and the fire department for their prayers. At this time, I have an issue within my community, which is very serious to my health. And I've been told there's nothing can be done about it. We have neighbors that moved into my next door to me. And the problem I have is not rentals, it's the people. The problem is air quality. I can't handle the blunt smoking. For y'all that don't understand what blunts are, it's when marijuana is rolled in tobacco papers. It doesn't dissipate. I'm quite sure a lot of citizens have rode behind cars and it's come into their vents. It's very, very choking. And seeing I had this illness, it's activated from 38 years of construction, my COPD. In which it does make it hard. I can't go out and do my flowers. It's hard for me to go into the backyard. It's hard for me to do any kind of maintenance around my home because this is a 24/7 issue. I'm just asking for some kind of advice from the council, from the city manager. And like I said, I'm not against rentals because there are good rentals. And I just paid off my home here in Ferguson. I have issues that I might want to move, but I don't want to do that just because of one incident. And there's a lot of other things that do go on. We have trash cans not being brought in. We have paper flying around the neighborhood out of overstuffed cans. I'm not saying rentals are bad. I'm just saying some of the people that do come into our community have to respect it. And that's all I'm asking. Is there anything that I can do or that the city can do? Mediation is not an option, I don't think now, because it's not about talking to the younger generation that moved in. It's hard because they're paying rent and they're paying $13.80 a month to live in a home. So it's hard for me as a neighbor to voice my opinion. They let their dog run in the front yard, and that's tough, you know. And I'm not against pit bulls or boxers, but it's a pit bull boxer mix, and they play with them in our front yard. So it's a situation that I feel that I'm just asking for some kind of help from our city manager, council, and whoever else might be able to help me with this situation. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Shropshire.
Paul Buchmeister.
All right, it's okay to approach.
Give it to the city clerk,
Sure.
please.
Okay. My name is Paul Kuchenmeister and I live on Charlotte as well, 1415 Charlotte. I want to thank Marcus and Mark and Melinda for coming up. I walked the street. I got signatures from everyone who lives on the street. It turns out the first building that they demolished was zoned commercial, and demolishing it, paving it, parking cars on it is okay. And it's also outside of the bounds of our actual subdivision anyway. But the next house that they bought and demolished is, you know, absolutely in the subdivision. It is zoned residential, and just asks that if it comes through the planning commission and eventually makes it to you guys, that you do not allow them to zone it commercial.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Octavia, do we have those to
Yeah, so I don't have enough now, but I can make copies for you guys later.
later, please?
Okay. Lauren Wilson.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yeah, I wanted to speak about the Ferguson tree removal program. I've lived here for 12 years and I appreciate the work and initiative that was put into the program.
Ms.
Wilson,
Wilson, can you state your address for us?
Oh, okay. My name is Lauren and I'm at 426 Church Street.
Thank you.
Okay. I was excited to have a dead tree removed from my front yard. And I received a letter in the first phase for the tree removal program. I applied for the low income program mid-December and sent all of the information that I had available. But due to me making a less than taxable amount for the year of 2024, I could not send in any or I couldn't send in any proof of tax being filed. It has been escalated to Larry Robinette, and I've been speaking to him since the end of January. And it has been a headache having to deal with Larry Robinette with this tree removal program. Because each time he has asked me for proof of some type of income, I've sent him that, which only had one income in 2024. I sent him all of my pay stubs for the year of 2024, which was less than the taxable amount that could be filed for taxes. And then after I sent him that, he then told me that was not proof enough. He then asked me, how are you paying your bills if you're not working? I told him that was none of his business. He then asked me, am I receiving charity from my family or friends? I told him that was none of his business. Then he asked, am I receiving government assistance? I told him, no, I do not receive government assistance, so I cannot show you an award letter that shows you that I'm low income, but I do not work. But I don't have proof of income because I do not work. So the last time I filed taxes was 2020 when I was laid off due to COVID. But then he told me that that's too old of taxes and that I cannot use that as proof of income. And plus 2020 puts me over the low income program anyway. But that is the last time that I worked was 2020. Anyway, it's as if he's been giving me the runaround this whole time since the end of January. Let's see. I'm afraid. So I've explained to him that every time that there is a storm, this tree limb breaks and a large limb falls off. I'm very concerned about the tree falling onto my home. This last storm that we had where the tornadoes came, a very large limb fell. So anyway, I just wanted to inform you all that it's been a headache working with Larry Robinette. I don't know if anyone else has complained about it, but I decided to come here to City Hall to voice my concerns.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that's all I have in person. I have 3 online.
Let's go to online.
First, I have Erica Brooks. Oh.
Good evening.
Good evening, Ms. Brooks.
It's several things that I want to talk about. One thing I wanted to mention, I had seen some literature from Mike Palmer as far as his candidacy and running for award. And that information that's on there, it's advertising as if he is the person that's in control or has had to personally work with by himself, not as the city with the police officers. He's got pictures on there about house improvement. And it's the city of Ferguson that's been doing the demolition, not Mike Palmer. Yes, maybe he done his own thing, but he's received money for restoration programs because it was various other meetings where people talk, Linda Lipka in particular mentioned how he would be able to save the city thousands of dollars if he's able to get those houses and restore them. But like I said, with this advertisement on his literature, it's looking like he's the only one. And so the people in Ferguson, knowing that he's bought a lot of land here in Ferguson, it's looking like he's the main one that's doing the demolition. He's the main one that's improving housing. He's the main one that's basically taking control and moving forward with the city of Ferguson and law enforcement and all the things. And then if there's anybody that should have that on their literature, it's you as a mayor. That's the ambassador that represents the city of Ferguson, and also, even though he's not elected official, is the city manager having those type of representations on their literature. When it comes to that FNIP funding, I know it's been several meetings. Our city councilwoman, Noah, has mentioned about them putting on there that they receive ARPA funds and why it was essential to put it on there because of reasons why this young lady is up here talking about funding. And I know people of Delwood, they were given monies that was from ARPA funds, not having to qualify, where you have to go to this rigorous qualification for federal funding, which you should already be, able to get, and then also when it comes to the consolidation of the city and the county, the House Joint Resolution number 27, when it comes to understanding who's gonna have control of our city, our municipality, who's gonna have, because I talked about this when James Knowles was here, and they was talking about the Better Together STL. But the bigger picture, not just you all here fighting for a position as a city council person, but knowing and understanding who's gonna have control of our police enforcement. Not only that, to our people, us. And also when it comes to the police itself, when it comes to basically the diversity, equity, and inclusion, all things that Trump is cutting apart. What are we gonna do as far as having control of our city when it comes to law enforcement? Who's gonna be able to control us once all these different things trickle down from his office when it comes to us having control with that? So that's what I want to talk about.
Thank you, Ms. Brooks. Thank you.
Okay. Henry Iwinoffle?
Good evening. I'm sorry I'm not able to make it there tonight. I'm happy to see everyone. The City Hall is full. Mayor, council members, thank you for what you do. But I have a couple of things one of the reasons why I was running for office. People have mentioned it today. The people near the body shop is complaining because they were not included in actions that are going to be taking place in their area. It is incumbent for elected officials to let the community know what's about to happen. That was the reason why I came to the City Hall, because they were trying to put Chick-fil-A in my community without us understanding what's going on. And the issue of conflict of interest. The quietness of the elected officials on that, whether you agree with me or not, as an elected official, you are there to uphold the law. Everyone knows what's going on with the conflict of interest. You cannot have someone, and I've heard one of your members defend it, well, if I have a car, would that be any different from regulating cars? But if you're making money and you're regulating drivers from making money, that's a conflict of interest. If you're a landlord and you're making decisions to take occupancy permit away, which is what Adrian was just complaining about, the kind of tenants that we have that come in, there's nothing wrong with renting. But if you're making regulations that affect your pocket, that's conflict of interest. And elected officials shouldn't be sitting there being quiet. Your quietness is basically accepting that is normal. And it is not normal. And that's the reason why our citizens are complaining. The young lady talked about someone who has access to tax properties, that they go around, have access, and use it to purchase property. That is not fair. So I think that we need to have a situation where our representatives are sharing what's going on in the community, going to the community, talking to the community, like they used to do back in the day, block parties, where you can have conversation with people so they know what is going on. And that's the reason why we have voter apathy. because they come to the city hall, they don't get the answer. And why would they want to vote? So I'm hoping that this council will look inside itself. Even if you're not going to get a vote, make a motion. Let it die for lack of a second. Make a motion that you object that someone that doesn't live in the area that he says he lives, you know that they don't live in that area. You talk about it. Make a motion that when somebody is trying to pass an occupancy permit and he or she is a landlord and is going to benefit from it, make a motion. Those are the things that we expect from our government. And that's the reason why I'm running for office. And finally, when are they going to finish fixing my street? I saw they came in and fixed a couple of blocks, a couple of cement blocks, and the street is still bad. And the street hasn't been fixed for a couple of more than 2 decades. So those are the questions that we as citizens, I'm not an elected official yet, but those are the questions that we have as citizens. And that's the reason why we're not happy.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Henry. Thank you.
Okay, the last person we have is Deborah Grady.
Good evening, Council. Deborah Grady, 30 James Court, Ward 1. My concern is, and people have touched on it tonight, is the conflict of interest. It keeps coming up and it keeps coming up when there's things brought up before council. And I think part of the problem is there's no transparency. There's no dialogue when bills are coming before the council on certain things. And in particular, there's been a lot of dialogue about, I'll call it the landlord's tax that was passed in September. Well, come to find out, in 2009, the voters of Ferguson approved a $50 per unit license fee. Well, that's thus been changed. And I'm not going to get down in the weeds with it, but what I'd like to see happen is the city attorney give a legal opinion, a legal interpretation of what the conflict of interest means. Because my perception of it might be different from the person over there. And I think that might resolve some things, that we get that settled, because it's true, we've got landlords bringing forth legislation that is of benefit to them. And I understand the difference between roads and cars and all of that. That benefits a majority. But when it's a small block of individuals and they're sitting on council and it benefits them, you really need to take a look at that, because it's perception. So thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Anyone else, Clerk Pittman?
No.
At this time, we'll close our public comments. A lot of statements have been made, and hopefully the city manager will be addressing them. If not, I will end miscellaneous. At this time, we move to our manager's report. City Manager Hampton, do you have a report?
Yes, Mayor. We're gonna have Troy Doyle come up and give a policing update, and after he's done with this policing update, I'd like to see if we can amend the agenda so he can do his promotions of his officers.
Thank you.
Keep doing.
You have the floor, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Here to provide the report for the police department.
One more time, would you silence your telephones, please?
All right.
You should be able to, talk nice to him. Not your day.
Can you manually, all right.
This one not on.
There you go. It's on.
All right, so as usual, I'm gonna go over the staffing update, part 1, part 2 crimes, and also have a special presentation this evening. We're gonna talk about traffic, our current investigation, ongoing investigations, and community engagement. So as usual, as you recall, April 1st, 2023, we're 49% staff, and I'm happy to report today we're sitting at 88% staff, and that's from the chief on down to the patrol officers here in this.
Oh my God.
Thank you. I think that's a huge accomplishment accomplishment for our city. I mean, like you say, more officers, obviously, there's more people out there on patrol. As you can see, there's asterisks, next to the communications operators. As you all well aware that we moved over to St. Louis County Police Department dispatching. So, those positions will be fade out here over the next, couple of months. As related to part one crime, it's gonna look a little bit different, from our previous presentation. So usually I can do the, comparison for year to date. However, what we're gonna do here from now to the end of the year is do from the previous month to the current month. The reason we're doing it because when we switched over to county dispatching, we also switched over to care. We also switched over to a new CAS system. So the old system was on OmniGo, and those systems don't talk to one another. But I still want to remain transparent to be able to provide the council in this city with some relevant numbers that you can take with you. And as you can see, as it relates to part one crime, we're down 44% comparing mid-January to mid-February and from mid-February to currently. The only thing that sticks out on this slide is we had 6 burglaries compared to 4 this time the previous month. Now with those 6, keep in mind too, several of those were a burglary is a burglary, of course, but some of them was ex-boyfriend kicking in the girlfriend's apartment door. But as it relates to part two crimes, again, we're down 23%. The number that sticks out most on there is we have 300% as it relates to drug offenses. And that has everything to do with the overlay shift that we created. When we created the overlay shift, they put us more officers out on the street, and those arrests resulted in traffic stops. And as a result of the traffic stops led to one thing or another that led to drug arrests. So happy to report on that. But totally we down 23% as far as part two crime. As far as notable investigations, so we had the Church's Chicken shooting several months ago. We did identify an individual, Cameron Clay, out of Hazelwood. His bond was $150,000 cash only. His charges were unlawful use of a weapon, armed criminal action, unlawful use of a weapon, shooting from a motor vehicle, armed criminal action, assault, first degree armed criminal action. He's currently sitting at the county jail. We also had another significant arrest, Karan Williams. This started from a individual who was a runaway out of the city of Ferguson. We were able to locate her down in the city, but in the process of locating her down in the city, we also located another young lady who was also missing, not from my city, but from another city. But as a result, we were able to charge this individual with sex trafficking of minors. So that individual is currently sitting in the county jail, trafficking second degree, 2 counts, statutory rape, second degree, 2 counts, and endangering the welfare of a child, creating a substantial risk of first degree. The 2 homicides that we had this year, one on Randolph, actually the one on Happen, both of them we're still waiting on forensic results to come back from the county lab. As far as traffic warnings and citations from the beginning of the year, you look at warnings and citations total, we wrote 183. I'm sorry, not 183, but 830. If you look at the year-to-date comparison, as you can see, you recall we had introduced an individual to our traffic unit. We started a traffic unit out here in the city of Ferguson. That individual, along with the overlay shift, has been very productive in regards to regulating speeding in our town. We still have issues, but these men and women are doing a pretty good job. As you can see, the numbers are fairly up. I want to say the percentage wise was 77% increase in overall actions, 69% increase in actual traffic citations, and a 96% increase in actual warnings. But what that should tell us is that not only are our officers issuing tickets out here, but they're also being fair too. They're giving out a ton of warnings too. As it relates to failure to yield, we had 28 this time last year compared to 23 this time this year. And again, these are the vehicles that for whatever reason fail to stop for law enforcement. So it actually that should be a 18% decrease. As I talked about the traffic stops, here's 2 of them For example, Officer Liddell, again, proactive in our neighborhood, observed a vehicle, did a traffic stop, observed drug paraphernalia and the suspect narcotics inside, a mini scale, Ziploc baggies, and 230 grams of marijuana. And this individual also had a loaded weapon on him. This individual was charged with possession of controlled substance, possession of controlled substance for possession and distribution. Officer Shetler had an arrest where he stopped the vehicle on a traffic stop, led to an individual who was wanted for a crime. He was wanted for, or I'm sorry, she was wanted for dangerous drugs, took her into possession or custody, seized 3 straws with white powdery substance in it. She had more drugs on her when she got to the jail. When they searched her, she had more drugs tucked in underneath her bra. We was able to recover that too. The bad thing or the terrible thing about that this individual was also pregnant. As it relates to community engagement, officers attended Griffith School Career Day, where we were able to interact with a lot of the young people and talk to them about possible interests later on in law enforcement. We also attended the Walmart Appreciation Barbecue. Pretty good. Also this month, we welcomed 2 new officers to our department. Officer Edmond, who came to us from the Berkeley Police Department, and Officer Shaw, who came to us from the Richmond Heights Police Department. The reason these individuals or these are important for us into this city is letting us know that Ferguson is becoming a destination for policing. We're starting to hire officers from other agencies that are looking to come here. I think they're recognizing the change and the things that we're doing here positive, the community engagement in which we're engaging in. I think people want to be part of the change here. So we welcome those 2 individuals here to our department. I handed you out some major updates. Chief Hampton and I had a conversation a couple of weeks ago about some of the things that we accomplished since April 1st of 2023. So instead of me listing all those things down, I gave you a printout. You can read it at your leisure. It's not a formal printout, but it's something that you can just kind of look at glance and kind of get a picture of what we're doing out here. I also have some for the residents who laying up in the back here. Officer Travis Brown update. So every other day, either myself or my wife happens to talk to Mom, and she kind of keeps us updated on what's going on. I think I sent the council an email here recently, along with my staff. I'm encouraged. It's encouraging to see the progress that Officer Brown is making. He went outside for the first time last month. Seen the smile on his face. He's showing significant progress. So we're happy to report on that. We look forward to hopefully a full recovery and him coming back to this police department and serving his communities. So I have a special presentation tonight. All right. I want to introduce the promotion of 2 new sergeants here in with the Ferguson Police Department. But before I do so, I kind of want to put this in perspective, or at least give you a perspective on what these individuals had to go through before they actually received this honor. So these individuals had to take a written test over department policies and procedures. Not only that, they also sat in front of a command level panel, oral boards, where they were grilled on their knowledge of policing. Not only that, they also sat on another panel with citizens from our community, which they were also grilled about things that were going on in our community and how they would help as it relates to community engagement. And finally, these individuals had to sit down with myself, where I had an opportunity to sit down with them to talk about, what they would like to do, moving forward here. One of the things that I look at when we make these type of promotions, I pay close attention to like attendance records, productivity, how they treat our citizens, what type of complaints that they had. And I'm happy to report that the individuals that I'm going to introduce you to tonight were phenomenal. They're great people. I think the city of Ferguson is going to benefit from not only their leadership, but just as a whole. I mean, they're very knowledgeable what they know, and I think they're going to serve our citizens well. So first, I'm going to introduce Sergeant Brad Kaiser. Brad, you want to come up?
That's part of being mayor.
All right, Officer Kaiser is gonna have his dad come up and pin him.
Aw.
There we go.
Okay.
First, all right, newly promoted Sergeant, Brad Kaiser. Sergeant Kaiser be assigned to a night shift.
Sergeant Kaiser.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
All right, next individual I want to introduce is Sergeant Jonathan Glover. And Sergeant Glover is gonna have his wife, who's a Paysdale police officer, come and pin him. I'm not sure if the Paysdale chief is here, but we probably still in her too soon.
All right, just because you're in uniform, you can hug. Sorry. You can go back that way too. All right, I do get that handshake though.
All righty.
At this time, council, I entertain any questions you may have.
Councilwoman Noah. It's in your packet.
I didn't.
Okay.
Okay,
Mayor,
Councilwoman, Lipka.
thank you very much. So awesome presentation. Thank you very much. And it's really awesome to hear so much progress being made and the two new sergeants. I know that is those positions you wanted to fill for a very long time, but you weren't just gonna haphazardly do it. So I think the time you took, you picked the exact right people. What I have a question about is, can you kind of give us a little more support in our decision? I think we still made the right decision of going to county dispatch, because I know I had to call them myself and it took a long time. The whole music replayed itself 5 times.
And then I've seen some comments on Facebook where people are feeling that their response time is a little longer than they expect it to be.
Mhm.
Is this a learning curve or is this the new norm? Because I'd like to know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I would, differ on that. Before we had, we had a skeleton crew as far as dispatching, where we had our own dispatching here. And oftentimes we would have one individual on. Sometimes the city can get pretty busy. So that individual was not only trying to answer 911 calls, they was trying to answer the non-emergency line. And they was also trying to communicate with the police officers. So it made it very difficult for us. In addition to that, we also had individuals that abused the sick leave policy. So as a responsible police chief, I had no other alternative to try to switch dispatching service to get us a more professional dispatching services here in Ferguson. The difference is the county, not only do they don't have just one person answer the phone, they got a whole slew of a roll of people answering phones. One busy, the phone goes to the next person. They have mental health workers, they're on staff, they can deal with mental health calls when we get it. So overall, I think it was a tough decision for me. Obviously, I hate to give up our own, but at the end of the day, I couldn't consciously walk out of here knowing that we didn't have adequate dispatching here in the city.
So do you think we'll see a quicker response time as they get more used to us?
Definitely will.
Okay.
Definitely.
And then the other thing I just wanted to point out is, and it's something that I've heard my whole life since I was a kid, is that you will stop the most violent criminals with a traffic stop. I mean, historic serial killers, historical criminals of all sorts have been caught by a traffic stop.
Yes.
So the fact that we have our traffic patrolmen now, the fact that we are increasing, and I like the fact that we're still increasing the warnings.
Absolutely.
Because I don't want us to go back to what we heard in 2015, that we were cashing out. The fact that, and that's another thing, when that happened those days, we didn't have data capture, but now we have a very strong data capture process. So we are able to answer those questions at any time through your processes. So I would just like to say that it is an excellent situation that we are not only getting a handle on our traffic issues, but we're also finding violent felons in the process. So
Yeah, absolutely. And let me reinforce that too. So, you know, the ideal of creating the traffic unit, when I got here as the chief of police, that was the number one complaint that I got here was traffic
You've heard
violations.
it
So
from me a
I
lot.
think John and I work pretty good together in regards to putting these speed bumps in the neighborhoods. Now we have a full-time traffic unit, and we will add another person to that unit here in the coming months as we get some people off of field training. So I think we're headed in the right direction with that.
The last thing I have for you is, how are we on our status with our academy people?
So we have one individual that's currently in academy who's scheduled to graduate in June. However, we have 4 people, I believe, that graduated from the police academy that's currently in our hiring process.
That's awesome. So we're looking at 5 potential.
Yes.
Terrific. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Lipka. Councilman Kassoff.
Yes, Chief. My daughter is a senior at the STEAM Academy down at the other end of Florissant Road. And she drove home from school one day last week. She walked in the door and she said, "Dad, there was people pulled over everywhere." And I just want to say, I was thrilled. Keep up that great work, because it's been crazy around here. And you know, us older folks that don't react quite as quick, when people go flying by at high speed, it's scary. So and the younger, less experienced drivers, same thing. So and my wife went to Aldi the other day. She said the same thing. She said, "I drove past like 3 people pulled over." It's been a long time coming, so I'm glad it's here, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Williams.
So I was in the Harbor Freight parking lot and I was talking to a St. Louis County police officer. I think his name was Fred. And I introduced myself. He was like, "Chief Doyle." I'm like, "Yes, sir." "You were his captain for many years in the county. And you guys are supposed to get promoted together, but he didn't want to move up. And he said it was a privilege to work under your tutelage. And he just had high praises for you. And he said, when I see you, to say hello." So we were talking about the young man that got hit by the car that was shooting in the traffic. And I got a lot of flack. It was like, why did county run him over? How come they just didn't shoot him in the leg or something? But when I saw the actual footage of him shooting back, I was just astonished. They had no choice. So a few months back, we gave the budget for the body cam. I think that was the best thing we ever did. Not only does that protect the citizen, it protects the police officer. Like the video is not gonna lie. So I haven't been on council a year yet, and the work that I've seen you do is outstanding. And I think your experience, I heard you on the radio, one of the things that made you get into law enforcement, you were stopped, profiled repeatedly when you were a teenager. And I'm happy to say if I got stopped by a Ferguson police officer, I would be honored. I think I would be treated fairly and they would give me a fair shake. I don't think they would jump to conclusions. And I think that's under your tutelage. The morale of the police department is high. They have smiles on their faces. And I think that's a combination to your tutelage and your leadership. So I just want to thank you for that. And also a lot of the officers, they look like me. So they might, think twice. But the last thing I want to comment on, we got to teach our young people to comply with police and don't run. That's the main thing. If you look on YouTube and you see all these black men getting shot, they're running or trying to flee. Don't flee. We had to teach them, just comply. Because you can live another day if you comply. And I see it too many times. Like I've been stopped so many times I can't even count. Yes, sir, no, sir. Put your hands behind your back, get on the ground, do some push-ups and jumping jacks. I'm doing whatever you want me to do so I can go home and you can go home. But we're not teaching our young people comply, do what the officer says. And, I think that would limit a lot of the fatalities with our young people. They just comply.
I agree. We have our challenges in front of us, in that regard. Humbled by your words previously. But I will say this, be anybody else standing up here leading this police department. I think what's more important is that this council, the city manager and the residents of this community that back and support these men and women back here is what's important to them. That's what boosts morale, not me. So.
Thank you, Councilwoman, Robinette.
Well, I will go if you called me.
Yeah.
This is such great news. Several years ago, we were just trying to staff a minimal staff for police. I mean, like our budget was very limited and we intentionally year over year put more focus into what would help just community safety in general. So I am so grateful that you took the police chief job and that you are building a staff that you feel is credible, because that, I trust your judgment. And so I trust the judgment of, those that you hire, because I know you have high standards. I've heard many stories. So I just want to thank you for just going the extra mile, doing everything that you do and building this force and building the morale is not from council. The morale is you building a team and building a family, and you sign everything. Like we get the forwarded message like from what you send, and it's like you guys are family, and I believe that. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Councilwoman Lipka.
I know, she's giving me that look. So I just wanted to say one more thing, and kind of going off what these two just said, is that when we have more stops and we're doing it for the right reasons and we're doing it the right way, and you have comments like Mr. Kapsov's daughter, Dad, they're stopping. That alone is one of the biggest criteria of slowing down the crime in our community, is people seeing the stops happening. So those who have been driving through our city with no care whatsoever are now seeing a change in the atmosphere and the environment around them. So that is almost 80% of the crime prevention is seeing that we're now stopping and slowing things down. So I just want to thank you. And I also want to thank Chief Hampton for getting you on board with our city.
Also to, on behalf of the police department, offer our condolences to the loss of your mom too.
Thank you. So,
Yeah.
Chief, I just want to say, April 1st, you will be with us 2 years.
Yeah.
And you have turned this city around, the police department. That's everything. Tony, where you going? I'm not finished. I just want to say thank you for hiring Lisa, our trainer,
Yeah.
because she's making a big difference
She
in
is.
the department. And Patricia Washington, who has changed the face of the police department. We thank you for that and for all the officers. All the officers. Councilwoman Moore.
Thank you, Mayor. Chief, I would like to say that I called the police because there were 2 pit bulls roaming around in my neighborhood. And my experience with St. Louis County Dispatch was great because I had to follow up with Chief Hampton. It was early one morning. And 2 pit bulls, they were roaming around and we know who they belong to, but still they were out and the kids were getting ready to catch the bus and it was great. Really good. I could tell the difference between the previous dispatch here in Ferguson
Yeah.
and what St. Louis County is offering. So thank you.
And if you are hearing bad things, I welcome those comments. It's the only way we improve, so I need to know. So.
That's awesome. Thank you, Chief. Appreciate you. City Manager?
Yeah, also, I don't want to burst any bubbles or nothing, but with the police department expanding and growing, we also have already put a big investment there, but we need to add more. Because with more officers become more cars, and cars are very expensive. So I just want to have that on council's mind as we go into budget season.
It costs money. More cars, more vests,
More money?
service rep.
Exactly. I mean, that's one thing we have. Chief and myself would really call that. You know,
Yeah.
because we were down to very minimal cars and you look at our fleet now, it's pretty nice.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Anything else, City Manager?
No, ma'am.
City Manager report is closed. We move to our special presentation. City Manager.
At this time, we'll do the Human Rights Advocate of the Year Award. If I'd have everybody come on up.
I Chief of Paysdale. He gonna get me for that calling his name.
It's not a pink sign.
It's on, when it's red, it's on.
No, green is on.
What's up for you and you?
Okay.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. I'm Councilwoman Noah representing Ward 3. And tonight, the Human Rights Commission, we're going to present the awards. And Emily and Carolyn, they're here to present. So thank you all for being here. And I'm going to stand here and take pictures.
Well, since I can see we have a lot of people that have been very patiently waiting, perhaps we can start with our youth award today.
Okay, it is my pleasure to read the nomination for our youth representative of from the Human Rights Commission Advocacy Award. And our youth awardee is Lawrence Hoy. And this is a little bit about Lawrence. In recent years, a remarkable narrative has emerged from Ferguson, Missouri, centering on the inspiring journey of an African-American Ferguson Florissant School District student who has taken the courageous step of becoming a business owner. This young entrepreneur not only demonstrates exceptional grit and determination,
but also serves as a beacon of hope for his peers and a human rights advocate within his community. It is my extreme pleasure to recommend Lawrence Hoy for recognition as a promising human rights advocate of the year. I've worked with Lawrence in my capacity as a business educator in the Ferguson Florissant School District over the last 3 years. As both a high school student and a committed businessman, Hoy embodies the qualities of a leader dedicated to hope, empowerment, and compassion for the people. Lawrence's story reflects the power of resilience in the face of uncharted territory for him. Managing education alongside entrepreneurial pursuits highlights his time management skills that were unearthed in this process. By successfully operating a business while still navigating the challenges of high school, he illustrates how dedication to education and personal ambition can coexist. His entrepreneurial spirit exemplifies the essence of community engagement, contributing to the economic framework of Ferguson. By creating job opportunities for fellow residents, this young leader is fostering economic growth and stability, reinforcing the importance of supporting local initiatives. Lawrence's commitment to uplift those around him is evident based on his intentionality of hiring within the community, which speaks volumes about his character. The determination shown by this student is not just bounded by personal achievement, but his compassion for others. Hoy is an advocate for equity in the community. Lawrence's business, Hoy Creek Lawn and Landscaping, hosts an annual event that provides clothing for the underserved population within Ferguson. His company continues to bring positive publicity to the city via First Alert Channel 4. In essence, the narrative surrounding this African-American high school student in Ferguson, unfolding as an inspiring business owner and advocate for human rights, serves as a powerful reminder of the potential that exists within our young leaders. His character, grit, and unwavering determination illuminate a path forward, not just for himself, but for his entire community. As a role model, Lawrence Hoy encourages others to push boundaries, embrace challenges, and lead with compassion, fostering a brighter future for all. Best regards, Harvey Love, business educator. Lawrence?
Is his parents here? Yeah, mom and grandma. Come on, mom. Congratulations. She looks too young. You got granny too, so come on, granny. Two grannies, okay. All right.
That's awesome. Lawrence, you're surrounded by a lot of good-looking ladies.
Okay, Lawrence.
Come on. Did you get this? Come on over here. Okay.
We'd like to congratulate you personally. Oh, okay.
See, I love taking pictures too.
All right, so.
Good job.
Good job. I actually talked to you a while back. I still could talk to you this summer too.
Yes. All right, you could cut my grass. Call me. The mayor. Call me. Yeah.
Some stars in the light.
Yeah.
Thank you on that one.
Our next nomination that we'd like to announce to you guys is for a group. And the group that I'm very excited to nominate as Human Rights Advocate of the Year is Strength and Honor Mentoring and Tutoring.
Yes.
And Strength and Honor Mentoring and Tutoring was started by Al and Kiana Harold, but as is made very clear by them and as I expected, this is a group, this is a village that accomplishes this. It was the organization's website neatly phrases much of the information that I obtained in an interview with them. So I actually chose to share that in the nomination. Strength and Honor is focused on redirecting our youth's way of thinking in hopes of giving them a fair chance at life. They provide a core set of values that ensures each individual is equipped with the power of knowledge to make rational and logical decisions while keeping in mind their actions affect the entire community. They provide mentoring and tutoring services throughout the year. They're involved in a competition robotics team, youth summer camps, camping trips, including some camping trips where it's the parents' first outdoor experience, so bringing entire families into the experience there, fishing trips, and regular visits to Earth Dance, organic farm school for nature and farming lessons, just to name a few things. So congratulations. I believe the Heralds are here to accept the award today.
All right, Albert. Yeah, come hug us. Albert, turn around this way so we can still take your picture. Okay.
And his son can outfish anyone.
Which one?
The oldest one.
Albert Junior? All right.
I think you can.
Now it's still one. I got history. I got history. I know, like, they go way back. There you go.
Okay.
For our next group nomination, the Human Rights Commission would like to nominate Proud. Proud is a Ferguson organization, stands for People Reaching Out for Unity and Diversity. Proud has been active for the past 30 years in Ferguson. The group continues to provide opportunities for Ferguson residents to work together to help our community become a community of equity, harmony, and quality. This year, they hosted a 30th anniversary celebration of the Oak Park Initiative, which included panel discussions, guest speakers, and time to celebrate. Recent community conversations have been about increasing voter participation and reimagining community safety. So congratulations to Proud. I believe we have someone here to receive the award.
Shape out. Congratulations. Congrats. Congratulations.
Careful. I do not need you breaking your chin right there.
Okay.
And for our final award, we have another individual Human Rights Advocate Award. This award is being given to Jeffrey Finnegan. Jeff Finnegan is a lifelong resident of Ferguson. He is currently a pastoral associate of Sacred Heart Parish and previously held that position with Blessed Teresa of Calcutta Parish and Saints John and James Parish. He's been a youth minister and continues to lead our youth by example, serving the poor, unhoused people, handicapped people, and people in the criminal legal system. Jeff is a teacher in the Parish School of Religion. He is a longtime member of Metropolitan Congregations United, leading people to put their faith into action and change public policy for the common good. Jeff is a member of the Ferguson Ministerial Alliance, a group of local ministers working to make our community better. Congratulations to Jeff Finnegan, and we will make sure that award gets there. Thank you. Thank you for your time, and we are still looking for more members on the Human Rights Commission if you're interested.
All right. Thank you. City Manager.
Yeah, Mayor, Council. Now I'll introduce Mr. Swoop. He's with St. Louis County Project Updates. Oh, I'm sorry.
He's sitting there.
He's sitting right there, but I'm gonna take it for him, Mr. Swope. Hi, my name is Kenny Murdoch. I'm St. Louis County's Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Thank you for having me here tonight. I'm here just to give you a short update on some things St. Louis County's doing. We all gave you some packets there, and I'm gonna touch on some points there and not take too much time in your meeting. But if you have any questions, you can always call our office at 314-615. My office personally is 7002. So feel free to call me at any time. But one, if you look at the first part of our package, St. Louis County has completed several projects. 7.5 million in airport road upgrades, 1.1 million in resurfacing Kingsland Avenue and Delmar and Vernon Avenue. We're in progress with 1 million to reimagine Kinlock Park, with 3.3 million to improve North Hanley Road and St. Charles Road access, and 4.1 million to improve Jennings Station Road and sorry, I'm old, I have to wear my glasses. Ford Avenue and Harles Ferry Road. We have some upcoming projects of 33 million to redevelop West Florissant through the towns of Delwood and Ferguson, 2.4 million to improve North Hanley Road, 2 million to improve Olive Boulevard and Ferguson Avenue to Skinker Boulevard, and 2 million to improve Ferguson Avenue from Page to Rock Road. Those are some of the major things we're working on now, and we're going to be keeping in touch with you. We plan to come to more of your meetings and more of your events and let you know how St. Louis County is working in your county. Also, if you turn to the next page, there's some information on the senior tax freeze. We want to make sure that you are able to tell all your seniors about the eligibility and that we're going forward with the senior tax freeze. The next section is violent crime reduction. Violent crime reduction has been taken very seriously by us. We're trying to look at gun violence, we look at violence in the area and reduce crime. If you turn the next page, we'll also talk about our Saves Live Now initiative, which is a multi-jurisdiction initiative to try and reduce crime by 20% in our area as soon as possible. And we're still working on that. That has been going very well. And it also has a component of cognitive behavioral therapy to help train people to try and break the cycles of violence. So it's doing more than just paroling. It's trying to break the very cycles of violence and working with places like the BRIC, that does bullet wound relief and things like that, and trying to really get into the community and stop violence before it happens. The last thing on the last page I want to tell you before I go is that our county executive has asked people to vote no on Prop B.
Madam Mayor, point of order. We don't allow electioneering in our council meetings.
This is not electioneering.
Yes, it is.
It is. I intended to tell you that before you got started, okay?
Well, we've had this in the education initiative, but I will respect your rules. All right, that's all I have. Do you have any questions for me?
Thank you for all the other work you're doing.
Councilwoman Noah.
Thank you, sir. I just have a quick question. The redevelopment of West Florissant through the towns of Delwood, in parentheses, it's 2025. So is the project going to start this year or will it start next year?
It's going to start this year, but if you want to talk to Jake Trimble, he's the person who will be giving out all the plans for that. So I can put him in touch with you and you can ask him step by step where the project is.
Well, that's a question for the city manager. I was
Okay.
just asking because of this.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
but thank you for that.
Okay, sure.
Okay,
Thank you. Have a
thank
good
you,
night.
Mr. Murdoch. All right. City manager.
Mayor and council, the last person I have is through St. Louis Mediation Group, Angela Lawson.
Good evening, Angela Lawson with the Community Mediation Services of St. Louis. We are registered here in Ferguson, 225 St. Louis Avenue. And do we have a time limit? I didn't hear that part. Okay, we're not gonna be long before you today.
Okay.
Okay.
We want to hear what you have to say. Okay.
Again, my name is Angela Lawson and this is
Hi.
Vince.
Good
talking, so.
Yeah.
He is also one of our professionally trained mediators with Community Mediation Services. We're here before you to introduce ourselves again to some who might have seen us before or heard of us. And those who have, we welcome and appreciate the opportunity to be back again. So thank you for having us. So we get a little bit about Community Mediation Services. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization that serves the greater St. Louis County residents, business owners, nonprofit or for-profit organizations, and government entities since 1999. CMS mission is to provide a platform for effective communication and alternatives for resolving conflicts in the community by providing mediation, conflict resolution services, restorative practices, group facilitation, and just dialoguing. CMS is a mission, CMS, we call that for short. Mission is to provide, it's a platform to provide effective communication. And also, we have a cadre of professional trained mediators such as Vince, who contribute their time and energy to support the mission CMS, which is to bring people together to talk and resolve their differences. We would greatly appreciate the city of Ferguson would continue to utilize this service a little bit more than you have in the past several years since we've been in Ferguson. And particularly in the three areas that are listed in the consent decree. The first one is a neighbor-to-neighbor mediation, which is resolving disputes where trained meet neutral, assist the conflicted neighbors in having conversation and jointly resolve their disputes. The other area is group facilitations, which is a group dialogue. It's a productive tool for dialogue and relationship building between community members or various organization members. The facilitated dialogue is effective to address concerns in a safe, secure environment where all participants have a voice and opportunity to be heard. We do a lot of this with the citizens and police dialogues over the past 5 years now. Also, our trained facilitators are responsible for navigating the participants through difficult conversations. Our police citizen mediations provide the citizen police dialogues with citizen complaints alleging police conduct, which according to I'm hearing today from Chief Doyle, you don't have the issues in Ferguson like that. So I'm glad to hear that. If you do, we're available to have a dialogue with committee, police officer and citizen. If they have a complaint against an officer that's not about conduct more or less. In addition, CMS provides conflict resolution services for various types of concerns involving tenant landlord disputes, for instance, HOA issues, homeowner associations, elected officials dialogues, and elder conferencing, and so many more things we can do. Our services are fast, effective, and it's voluntary, and it's confidential, which is very important. We like to continue to serve this community as we serve other communities in St. Louis County. And we value the work we do. We have professionally trained panel mediators such as Vince and others that have a diverse background, professionally, geographically, economically, all these different things. So we try to pair them up with individuals if they have a conflict, and we really want you all to utilize the services. We have some information that I just put out in the back, and we can provide that to you as well. So thank you, council members, for having us.
Councilwoman Robinette. So just a few questions. So do we have this on our city website? already?
We are listed as far as I know.
I
as
didn't
a-
like if there was a way we could put it into, you know, like I have a problem, I need a mediator, like we could get you more
We'd
traffic
love to
that
have more
way.
visibility. We are listed as a community resource, the last I looked.
Yes. Okay, I was just thinking like report of concern could also go to them is what I'm thinking. Okay.
We could even mediate issues with blunt
I wanted to,
smoking.
yeah, I thought about that earlier. But I really want to thank you for being in our community because there are a lot of issues that are just misunderstandings or talking at each other or past each other. And I really appreciate the work that you guys are doing. And so I want there to be a better, faster way that our citizens can engage you. So thank you very much.
Councilwoman Lipka.
So it's always good to see the two of you because I've been here long enough to have seen you when you've done multiple presentations from the first one to now. And so thank you for sticking it out with our community. I would also like to say, you know, one of our prize residents, Adrian Shropshire, was saying he didn't think his situation could have mediation. And I'm like, oh, you haven't met Angela yet. So I would like to see that would be an option. And we've had some other comments tonight that I think are perfect opportunities. But my understanding, if I am correct, and Chief Hampton, you can tell me, aren't you doing a lot more work recently with our police department and working with situations? Because I know we were Pat Washington, was that at the, wasn't that at the press conference when we were talking about being able to utilize mediation more in our community policing programming so that we could like kind of take things down a notch before it became a policing issue? So I know you're involved in that progress, correct?
It's been a pleasure working with Pat Washington, the newly assigned, I understand, consent decree coordinator.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Okay, so that being said, I mean, I think with the fact that that is part of our community policing and our program that we're implementing, and the fact that you have been a part of Ferguson a lot longer than people realize, I would like to personally ask and challenge the council, the council that's here, because we are about done, and Chief Hampton and the staff, if we couldn't put on, maybe make them a public interest story on our Facebook pages, maybe the police department make them a public interest. Hey, did you know we have mediation in Ferguson? And because Pat's really good at stuff like that, and also possibly putting it in the city of Ferguson's Facebook page, you know, just push it out there through those channels, because I know a lot of people would do that. And if Proud wanted to put it on their pages, they could too. So the more we can get it out there, maybe we get one good story and we push it out there. I know we've got a citizen in the room that's starting her own little thing. So, you know, we push that out there. I think people like Mr. Shropshire and others would have an opportunity to really connect with you.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Councilwoman Noah.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Angela. We finally get to
Yes,
meet.
we do.
I actually have used the mediation services in the past. And I just went on the website and actually a neighbor told me about the mediation services. And I went on the website and I Googled and the information popped up and I've talked to Angela. And we're happy to see that you're feeling better because
Thank
we
you.
missed you at our event on Sunday. But that's okay. We are glad that you're here and thank you for your service to the community. Mhm.
Bessie, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think I heard it at the meeting with the police department last week that you want to help citizens not have to call police. So I think on a continuum of conflict, working things out by yourself, between yourself before it ends up in court is always better. Courts are costly, and even calling police in, you know, I don't think that's the work they want to be doing. They will be doing it. So we are here to serve the community in any way we can, and help all of our citizens have a more peaceful future.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mary. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Council, and thank you, Pat.
All right. City manager, anything else?
No, Mayor and Council, that's all I have for tonight on the special presentation.
All right, special presentation is closed. We do not have public hearing tonight. We move to our consent agenda. We have city council meeting minutes, our regular meeting for March the 11th, Request a motion in a second to approve the meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second, Linda Lepka.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Meeting minutes are approved. We don't have anything for boards and commission appointments, requests, proclamations, so we move to resolution number 2025-08. Without objection, we're introduced by Mayor Ella Jones and Councilman Nick Kassoff. Attorney Carey, could you please read the resolution?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution number 2025-08, a resolution of the city of Ferguson, Missouri, authorizing the city manager to sign and execute an agreement with the city of Jennings for inmate housing.
City manager.
Yeah, Mayor, Council, at this time, I'm gonna call Chief Doyle up because I know there's been some questions. Chief. And also, Michelle, right,
Yes.
Chief Doyle also have,
Yep.
So you're bringing all the white shirts with you, okay?
Yeah, I'm here to, obviously want to contract with the, city of Jennings. I think it'd be beneficial to our police department as it relates to, time out of service for our police officers when they go out to county intake. It's a little bit longer, the process is a little bit longer. We contract with the city of Jennings. We're also, able to, do video conferencing with our, inmates. So for example, if we arrest someone just like on a Ferguson warrant, we could transport that person to Jennings, and the next day, our judge would see that individual through video conferencing, and it's just a few minutes down the road here.
Any
I entertain any
questions?
questions that you may.
Councilman Kassoff.
So this is gonna be taking us from $50 per inmate day to $100, correct?
So I brought my people here that has the intricate with the numbers.
Yeah, all my questions are mostly, well, before we get to numbers,
Sure.
you said it takes a while. We've had some emails back and forth, so I'm going over stuff we've already talked about. My recollection is that you said it can take 2 or 3 hours to get an inmate processed into county versus 15 minutes at Jennings.
Right.
So it's not just a little bit, it's a substantial time saving.
It is, and we also got to keep in mind too, that when we take prisoners out to St. Louis County, we're not, obviously not the only agency. St. Louis County is taking prisoners, and a lot of other departments, Highway Patrol is dropping off prisoners too. So when we get there, we just coming in line behind whoever else is there. Where if we take them to Jennings, I mean, it's either us or Jennings police officers that's incarcerating that individual.
Okay, so we're coming out of a $50,000 a year flat rate contract with St. Anne. You said that in the last 7 months, we used, I believe it was 48 prisoner days. That's nothing. Even at $100 a day, that's 1/10 of what we were spending in St. Anne. However, we've got a lot of people out there on warrants that we haven't been executing on. Do we anticipate a change of policy with warrant executions and bonds that might greatly increase that? And if so, how much of an increase in utilization do we anticipate?
Well, I'll let them, yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So we are currently, the course is currently changing the policy 4.0 and 7.0 with Apollo, where we were usually doing unsecured bonds, where basically like a book and release. We're no longer going to be doing that. It's going to be, you have to post a bond. If you don't have the cash to post a bond, that's where Jennings come in to be beneficial to the city of Ferguson. If I came in and I did not have any money, we're not going to hold them past that 24 hours. The judge is able to come in and speak with that person. That person is able to make their plea, and then he's going to give them their time to pay their fines. They'll get 30 days or 60 days to pay their fines. At that point, that person is no longer wanted by the city of Ferguson. It's not taking up money from the city of Ferguson, us sending out letters to this person. They're done with us. If they don't pay their fines, it goes to debt collection or tax offset, so we're no longer having to deal with that person. This also stops the book and release, because that's paperwork. That's more money we're spending, the city is spending sending out letters, completing this paperwork and doing it. So that's where we're at, changing the policy. So we do anticipate an increase on inmates being picked up. Right now, I believe we are at over 5,000 active warrants for the city of Ferguson.
And so you're saying if we pick somebody up on a warrant,
Mhm.
they're not gonna sit there for 5 days. It's gonna be 24 hours, video conference with the judge, and we'll cut them loose. So
Within that 24
we're
hours. they
talking
will
about
see that.
$100.
Yes.
In jail time.
We're not looking to hold any, unless their crime is. they're
Right,
pleading
serious crime, clearly.
Domestic assault,
Okay.
so he could give them, possibly jail
Okay,
time.
because I don't
So-
want to hold somebody for $600 of jail time on a $200 bond.
That
That
will
doesn't
not
make any
happen.
sense either.
That will not happen.
Okay, so we're not gonna be running up huge bills.
That is correct. We
Okay.
will not.
That's all I needed to know. Thank you.
Anyone else? Councilman, Williams?
Why are we switching from St. Anne?
So the city of St. Anne was charging Ferguson $50,000 a year flat, so 12,000 quarterly. We were paying that amount, and I believe in 2017, we arrested 218 people, and we paid $50,000 for that 218 people. We wouldn't pay $50,000 at this point for that. It would be, I know the city will say, we will save at least $30,000 coming from that St. Anne.
So basically, it's gonna be a la carte. Instead of paying a flat rate, it's per person, and it's gonna be
That is
cheaper.
correct.
Will it be better service as well?
Yes, it will.
Okay.
Because if a person is multiple times, I would say more than 50% of the time, if a person is picked up from a St. Louis County officer, then we don't have to use our officers, take our officers off the street. St. Louis County will take them straight to St. Louis County. We won't have to, we will save money even in time with that.
Councilwoman Lipka?
The only thing just to tell you, Mr. Williams, so, there has been stories in the past where our officers have taken a criminal to St. Anne. They've stayed there for quite a while to get them booked in. And by the time they get done with the booking and they're working on their paperwork, the criminal's already walked out the door and gone. So St. Anne didn't do us any favors. And we were paying a lot of money for them to not do us any favors. Those criminals would be back in town before the officer who arrested them was. And this was a common thing. So anything that can improve that is wonderful in my eyes. So, and the other thing is too, let me just point out one more time, something that Chief Hampton said tonight, where we make savings here, we can spend on the police budget going forward. Because we're gonna need to.
Councilwoman Noah?
The agreement states this agreement is made and entered into this 7th day of, so this will go into effect the 7th day of April.
Yeah, it's,
April.
I'm not for sure of the date, so.
Yeah, we pushed it off until after this
Okay.
council
Okay.
meeting because we didn't want to have it before this.
Right, I just wanted
Y'all
to,
said no. And we can still do
okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Any other? Okay. Chief, thank you. All right. I'm requesting a motion and a second for approval.
So moved.
Second, Linda Lipka.
Clerk Pittman, could you please call the roll?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution number 2025-08 passes. We don't have any bills for first reading nor second reading. Do we have any unfinished business? Here not? Okay, we move to new business. Do we have any new business? Here none, we move to miscellaneous. At this time, Councilwoman Lipka?
I would like to go last.
Councilwoman Lipka?
What, you're not gonna let me go last?
Nope.
Okay. Okay, so couple of things I want to address on the public comments. The first one was from Ms. Bryan regarding Craig Short. So I was the one that put forward his application because according to our state, our city, the only thing we have to make sure they have is their taxes paid. When I found out about the situation, I was taken aback, but instead of going on Facebook and making an issue out of it, I picked up the phone and called the gentleman. And I said to him, hey, this is what I found out. Could you please tell me what's going on? And he was very clear with me. He explained everything that happened to me. Yes, it has big words. I talked to Apollo. These things have those legal words attached to them. But there's always two sides to every story. I listened to his story. I understand where he was coming from. I'm not saying, you know, he admits that he did. Just to give you some background. He was cleaning out his mother-in-law's house. He had trash. He knew he shouldn't have gone to the dumpster that he didn't have approval to, but he did because we've all had situations where we're trying to throw things away and there's a dumpster sitting there. So he went to put some trash in the dumpster. Suddenly somebody comes running out toward him. They're charging his wife. They're charging him. He tells his wife to get in the car. This is a summer month. He gets in the car. He doesn't know what this guy is going to do. He's scared for himself. The guy comes running up alongside his car, jumps on his side door. He has a truck, holds onto his rearview mirror, and is trying to punch him through the window. He took off. The guy fell down. The guy called the police, said he had he'd been hit and run. When he didn't even know he'd had this happen. So when he was pulled over months later and he was brought to the situation of them explaining why they had pulled him over and there was a warrant out and everything else, he got a lawyer. They talked it through. He realized, he was like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and stand up and take my punishment. This is what I'm going to do. So it was knocked down to a misdemeanor and that's where he is right now. Now, I was like, okay, dude, I said, I hear what you're saying. I am going to tell you though, that this is a situation that is concerning. When I had a traffic commission meeting, I explained everything to the traffic commission members. I just laid it out. I wasn't pushing one way or the other. I just laid out the facts and I asked them how they felt. And they felt that they wanted to give this man a second chance for a couple of reasons. One, it is not our job to retry them. He has already gone through the process. He is already serving the conclusion, and we are not judge and jury of him. That has been handled by a judge and jury. So they're not going to retry him. They're not going to turn away a man who might actually have some great experience on how to do things the right way because he's been there, done that in a situation. And then also, I understand the concern that Ms. Bryan shows, and I agree with her points in that concern, but we don't have it on our books. So we can't enforce something that we don't have on the books. So if that's something that we want on the books as a community, then the next council should look into it. But keep in mind, you're walking a very fine line. We had another gentleman on a board for the business district who had served time for burning down his own business in Florissant. We can't retry him. And just because you don't like his background, if he's already served his time, that's it, that's done. That's what the justice system does. You clean it up. So we got to be very careful what line we're going to walk. And I think it's something to consider. So I just want to let you know that the commission would like to give this man a second chance. And I would like you guys to consider that as well. Also, going to another comment that was made, using the word rape their home is very strong language. Unfortunately, it's a situation that this person was unhappy with, but the bottom line is that house went on post-third sale. Anybody could buy it on post-third sale. The person that bought it, Mr. Palmer, if you also heard, said he offered to sell it back to her for what he had gotten. He wasn't looking to make a profit. There were many opportunities that he wanted to work with her. I guarantee you, anybody else that would have bought that house post-third sale would have not made that kind of offer. So careful what we're saying in these public comments. I want to correct those things. Also, Mr. Shropshire, I think your problems are very warranted, and I have had blunt smoke in my face, and I think I coughed for like 2 days. So I would highly beg for you to try that mediation process. And I don't know if there's anything that can be done. That would be an Apollo question. He's right over there. And I would also like to acknowledge that the citizens of Charlotte that came to our podium, that was brought to me months ago because I talked with you and I've talked about that situation. And we did find out that the one house was zoned commercial, so that was not a problem. The second house, we're just trying to figure out what's going on there. I don't know where that is right now, but yeah.
They do have permits to tear down the houses, but he owns the house. He can tear down the house if he wants to.
but can he,
Before he can do that into residential, he'll have to take it to planning and zoning.
okay. So what I would also recommend to the city council for planning and zoning is that you can require that he puts up a stockade fencing and do something that makes it beneficial for that neighborhood, but you guys have a lot in front of you because that neighborhood's very unhappy. And then I would also make a point too, that when Mr. Winfrey got on there and said that city council is silent, no, I was not silent. I did work on this. I worked with it with Mr. Hampton. I worked with it with, Mr. Kuchenmeister. So I didn't bring it to all of you because this isn't your business. This is the business of me working with the city manager to get answers for that neighborhood. So that's what I did. So just because you didn't know about it doesn't mean it wasn't happening. Also, I just want to point out that some of the comments tonight during city council or during public comments, I think it's interesting that 4 occasions, comments were specifically designed to point out candidates who are running for office. When they could have just said a group as an entity, like, you could have just talked about FNIP, you could have just talked about post-third sale, you could have just talked about your concern when candidates put pictures of themselves on their flyers, because all of the candidates have done that. Not just one, all of them. So, let's not play games here. If you're going to make comments and you truly care, then generalize your comments. But if you're gonna make comments because you want to dig on someone, let's call that out as well. And now I'm gonna change my tune. And very, very honestly, I just want to say that the reason I get upset about these things is because I care about this community so much, and because this community cares about one another, and because this community has stepped up and showed me their heart, even people that we don't always agree. I just want to thank everybody for your support and your condolences and everything that involves with the death of my mom. Heather Robinette, I called her when it happened and she said, I'll be there in 30 minutes. She was there in 20. And she didn't leave. I called the mayor. She's like, I'll be there in 10 minutes. Well, not even 10. She lives 2 minutes away, I think. And I wanted to say yes to her, but the people were coming to take my mother's body. And I didn't want the mayor to see me like that. And so I just want you to know that just about everybody on this diocese and on these 2 panels here and right there has reached out to me in some manner, and I truly appreciate it. And I thank you for your support. And I also thank you for the fact that we don't have to agree on everything, but we're still citizens together. So that's all I have. Thank you very much.
You needed to go first. Councilwoman Noor.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilwoman Lipka, my condolences on the loss of your mother. Thank you all who attended the Ferguson Human Rights in collaboration with Proud the Community Meal. We had a good time. It was a small bunch, but that's what community is, coming together and, having conversations about how we can work together to make our community better. I had an opportunity to attend the police press conference last Friday, the engagement, policing and engagement plan, and it was really good. FPD has come a long way, and it is the leadership in our city, and Chief Doyle, he's a really informative man. He's been a really good chief of police. He brings to Ferguson a lot of institutional knowledge. And so really happy that he's here, and the morale, in my opinion, is better, the professionalism. So thank you all for that. Tomorrow, we're going to have a meeting at the Ferguson Empowerment Center, the NESB meeting. It starts at 6 p.m. And FYI, they will have their slam event this Friday at 4:30. I plan to attend and support our youth. And the park on West Florissant is coming along, so it really looks great, and it's really, that area, as we work to revitalize West Florissant. The residents are happy. The park is coming along. Thank you, Ferguson staff, Park and Rec. Thank you all for that. What else did I want to comment on? I do have a question for the chief. I didn't get to ask it earlier, if I can. Chief Hampton, can you tell us, the previous Road Runner building on Bermuda Road, is it scheduled for demo?
No, not this time.
Not at this time.
No.
And the next question is, are you all planning a dangerous building meeting in the future?
Yeah, we are. We're still putting a list together.
You're putting it together?
So I don't have a date, but we will have it done before May.
Okay, thank you.
There's a process we still have to follow.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But again, thank you, staff. Thank you, community. Everyone be safe and well. And thank you. That's it for me, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman Noor. Councilman Kassoff.
Yeah, I got just a couple of things. First of all, I want to address the issue of council appointments to boards and commissions. I feel very strongly, we've all made mistakes in life. Some of those mistakes have penalties. You got to pay money. You might be locked up for a while. Once you've paid the price for your mistakes, I don't support relegating somebody to the back burner of everything in life and defining the rest of their life by that mistake. And we know that people who have a record, they have a hard time finding employment. Some of them can't vote depending on what they did. And they really just get pushed out to the fringes of communities. And I want to say that personally, somebody that made a mistake in life, paid the price, moved on with their life, and they want to do good things in life, I welcome that and I support that as a matter of principle. Now, in regard to the specifics of the gentleman in question, it was said that he has a criminal history, which is false. He has a misdemeanor with an SIS, which means he doesn't have a criminal record now. It's not a felony. And when he completes his 2 years of probation on an SIS, it vanishes completely. It won't even be on CaseNet anymore. So that's not a criminal history. It was said that he struck a person with a vehicle. And he disputes that. And in the end, the prosecution decided that that wasn't the case that they were able to prove based on the testimony of the parties. And therefore they went with a lesser charge. That's the way it happened. You're not the judge. You're not the jury. The court record is what defines what happened, period. We are a country that says innocent until proven guilty. And once you've paid the price for your crime, you get to go on with your life. Now, final thing I want to say about that, it was suggested we should have background checks for people on boards and commissions. Come on, man. We're talking about going to a conference room at the community center and sitting down with some neighbors and talking about where we're going to put a speed bump or whether we want to have this playground or that playground. We're not talking about somebody that's going to be counseling young children or, driving a police car. We have background checks for somebody who's going to drive a police car, because obviously if you're going to drive a police car and you've got 3 DWIs, we're not going to go with that. But bottom line deal, we're talking about somebody who comes to the community center once a month, sits in the conference room and discusses with their neighbors on an advisory level of what they would suggest the council to do. They don't even make final decisions on these boards and commissions. They're advisory. And I believe that everybody in our community, whether you lit your building on fire, we got somebody on a board and commission right now who's got a warrant from the city of Ferguson. I don't support throwing people off for every little thing they did in their life. I think people should get a chance. And that's all I've got to say about that. Now, one more thing I want to say. The weather's getting warm. It's supposed to be 80 degrees this Friday. And we haven't had this in a long time. So this Friday at, I think it's 6 o'clock, 6:30, we're gonna have the first cheers, jeers, and beers of the season. Everybody's welcome. Come to my house, 125 Royal. If you're campaigning against me, if you hate me, come on by, meet your neighbors. I'm gonna have Traeger grilled hamburgers and beer, and everybody's welcome. Even Erica, I'm looking at you, Erica. I know you like a hamburger, right? No?
Yeah, you
Okay,
do.
all right.
You
Well,
cannot eat cage.
if you want something other than a hamburger, I'll make something special for you. But really, everybody's welcome this Friday night. It'll be the first of many this year. But I appreciate whoever stops by, whether you on this team or that team, really doesn't matter, because we're all in this ship together and we've got to make it float in the right direction. So
Thank God you say shit. I
I know, there was an in there.
Okay,
ship with a P.
Yeah, okay.
All right, and that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Castle. Councilman Williams?
Want to make some comments on the audience, their statements. And I labeled them in most importance. So the Adrian and Shropshire, that situation really bothered me. A lot of people don't realize that marijuana smoke has 2 times the carcinogens than regular cigarette smoke. So it's literally life and death for you. If this was 2 years ago, it would be easy because marijuana was illegal. Now that it's legal, you really don't have a leg to stand on. And to be honest, I don't think mediation is going to work because the cannabis today is so strong, it's not psychologically addictive, it's physically addictive. And even if you worked out something where they stayed in one room, it's going to permeate to your house. I hate cigarette smoke and I hate marijuana smoke. And right now it's pollen season. I've been coughing, I've been drinking water. So this was first on my list. What I can recommend is talk to the landlord and have them removed when their lease is up. See if they can get removed, because that is not a good situation that you're facing. And talking to them, they're probably younger. They're not gonna listen to you. I'm pretty sure you asked nicely. But it's really life or death, especially the scare that you had last year. You do not need to be breathing that in. It's literally life and death. And so, you can find the tax records and see who owns that house and just say, hey, they're doing this. Can you move them out? And while you've been a landlord, that stuff is going to permeate in his house. It's going to take him forever to get that out. So he might not want that, but that was number 1 on my list. All right, the next one was the FNIP tree program. It was Lauren Wilson. So FNIP has their own guidelines. I used the program 3 times, but I didn't use the low income requirement. But, I don't think it's probing into someone's business, is to prevent fraud. So the first time I used it, the representative came to my house and they looked to make sure I did the landscaping. He said, you wouldn't believe it. This one guy tried to get the money and he took a picture of his neighbor's house and sent it in. So it's not singling out people, it's to prevent fraud. When I tried to get my house, I was writing stuff off to avoid taxes, and the bank looked at me and they were like, you need 2 years of taxes. So we had to use my wife's taxes. And I said, but I got the money. They said, we don't care how much money you got. You need to pay taxes so we can see something. So when you do a program, a loan or whatever, you got to meet their requirements. I don't think anybody is singling anybody out. It's just to prevent fraud. And, you can make $200 a month, you still can file taxes. You might not own anything, but it's a good practice to do your taxes because you never know what you might need, a bank loan, a house loan. And the first thing they ask for is the last 2 years of tax returns. And And the most important one, the Jack and Fleming with that house situation. So we just won the Best Neighbor Award. Why don't we do a fundraiser for her? Talk to Habitat for Humanity to get her in the house. And they passed out this pamphlet, Senior Property Tax Freeze Program. That's what got her in trouble in the first place, not paying her taxes. So maybe we can do a fundraiser, talk to Habitat for Humanity. If she's a senior, the house will be paid for. It'll be a tax freeze. And, you know, we can stop attacking people, and we're helping the citizens and the seniors. We need to help our young people and our seniors. That's what goes into the values of a community, how we treat our young people and how we treat our seniors. So it's kind of appalling she lost her house, but it was fair. It was fair. Anybody could have bought that in a tax sale, but that's an afterthought. Let's move forward and do a fundraiser for this young lady. Habitat for Humanity. Let's see if we can get a tax freeze on that property so we can get her in a house. It was some other stuff I had here, but those were the most pressing on my list. Oh, one last thing. So Henry Anewofu said we didn't fix the street. I think that is a private subdivision. I'm not sure how we do the roads with private subdivisions, if we're allowed to do it. You know, like I said, I haven't been on council a year, but private subdivisions are handled a little differently when it comes to their roads and public infrastructure. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Williams. Councilwoman Robinette.
So I would just like to congratulate the police department. The press release that went out today, I forget what they called it, the overlay shifts, or, you know, that they're staffed a little better so they can catch up and not, you know, like have some time to do the paperwork. Like, that makes me very happy that we have that level of staffing to give some breathing room and then get targeted focus into what needs to be done. And I want to congratulate, easy. I know, you meant what I knew. Congratulate the promotions this evening to Sergeant, right? Glover and Kaiser. So I just wanted to give them a shout out. That's really spectacular. And just they should keep on keeping on. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilwoman Robinette. Clerk Pittman. Attorney Carey.
I actually have something tonight. I know, right? It's a new development. So just wanted to say that you know, it's been an honor to serve with Councilwoman Robinette and Councilwoman Lipko. I know you guys are terming off. I may not be at the next meeting, the 15th. I know I'm out of town April 15th, and so Ryan will be covering for me. But you know, the last, I think this is my 9th year as the city attorney. So yeah, and I remember sort of coming in, you know, right at the time when we were all sitting up there, everybody's taking darts. You guys were up there, everybody's taking darts from the community. You know, obviously as somebody who works with the council and the city, I know how difficult it is for you guys to do what you do. And that's everybody on the council, but in particular, the time that we all sort of came in together, it was you know, it was a tumultuous, I guess is a good word for it. And so it's been an honor to sort of serve with you guys. Thank you guys for, you know, the dedication I think that you've shown to the position, to the citizens. In my mind, there's no question that you care about the city of Ferguson. You love the city of Ferguson. You just kind of want what's best, you know, at least from your perspective for the city. So I just wanted to you know, just say thank you guys so much. And it's really been an honor serving with you guys. I will say, I also want to talk about Chief Doyle. He is just dope. Chief Doyle is just dope. And I will say also just to the council in general, what a smart hire. That was real. I'm coming to that. I want to say that's a really smart hire. If you guys come to any of our consent decree status hearings, you'll hear me give him his props every time, because he just he just knows what he's doing. He's immediately has had the respect of the department. He came in and really made some significant changes with FPD. Has really helped the consent decree compliance, but not just consent decree compliance, but just overall morale within the city. He's just super dope. And I'm going to say, I didn't want it to go unrecognized that the truth of the matter was that was a John Hampton thing. That was a John Hampton thing, and I remember the origin of it. I won't go into too much detail, but I remember the origin of it. And so while, when, as public servants, we all take darts about things from the citizens, that particular decision, as well as the council, but John Hampton was really behind that. So just to commend you for that, because I don't know how much the citizens really know about that. I do remember when the decision was made, you and I were sitting together when the diocesan people were throwing darts at both of us about that decision. This was really good to sort of see the patience that the community had and the work that he's put in from where we started when he first came on to where he is now. So just kind of want to let you guys know that as well. But again, I may not be here for the next meeting. It'll be Ryan standing in, but you guys have been awesome. So thank you so much.
Mayor, when is our last one? Isn't it the 29th? No, the 15th. April the 15th. No, I mean, but don't the election results have to be verified? They will be verified by the 15th. Is that not correct?
Yes, that's correct. They should be. If they're
Yeah.
not, then we'll be notified and then we'll have
Okay.
to make arrangements. But in April, we changed our meetings to the 3rd and 4th Tuesday.
He's a tax guy.
That is so good.
Yeah. Okay,
Thank you.
city manager. Okay, so I just would like to say, Linda, anything you need, just call. That's all you have to do. Just call.
Even after I'm done on council?
Yeah, just call. This is our last meeting until April the 15th. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. No one is perfect. Sometime we got along and sometime we didn't, but it's been a pleasure. And I just hope these next 2 weeks that Facebook will calm down some. And I share this seriously because I've had seniors call me and they say they look forward to positive posts, but here lately they've been off the chain. And sometimes we think only Ferguson reading those Facebook posts. No, they go all over the country. They go all over the country. So I just hope that if you have anything that you have to say to someone, we got a mediation service. Just pick up the phone. I don't always agree with the city manager and the city clerk and the attorney. They don't always agree with me, but we sit down and we talk. Because our number one interest is this community. So I just hope Facebook will slow down a little bit. I just hope and pray that. Anyway, I'm requesting a motion in a second to go into closed session.
So moved.
Second, Laquita Noah.
Both y'all jumped the gun. Pursuant to 610.021 subsection 3 for personnel.
So moved.
Second, Laquita Noah.
Clerk Pittman, could you please call the roll?
Councilman Cassoff.
Aye.
Mayor Jones.
Aye.
Councilwoman Robinette.
Aye.
Councilwoman Lipton.
Okay, since I got the mic for a minute, I just want to say, Mayor Jones, it has been a pleasure. I have learned so much about myself through you and with you and because of you. So we have also been our own public mediation team together and we have worked very well together. So I want to say that, and aye.
Councilman Williams.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
We are now in closed session. Everyone have a good night, and we see you April the 15th.
Thank you for that.